This sprinter wasn't even in the top three. The race was over. Or so everyone thought. The anticipation was palpable as the athletes took their positions. The crowd held its breath, eyes glued to the starting blocks. Each sprinter was a picture of focus and determination, muscles coiled like springs ready to unleash their power. The gun fired and they exploded off the blocks, a blur of speed and precision. But for one sprinter, the start was anything but perfect. But what happened in the final 20 meters left everyone speechless. The race had been intense from the get-go, with each athlete pushing their limits. The crowd's excitement grew with every passing second, their cheers a thunderous roar. As the sprinters approached the final stretch, it seemed like the outcome was already decided. The leaders were ahead, their strides powerful and confident. But then, in a moment that defied all expectations, everything changed. He stumbled off the blocks. Reaction time was off. It was a disastrous start, one that would have demoralized most athletes. The stumble cost him precious milliseconds, and in a race where every fraction of a second counts, it seemed like an insurmountable setback. The other sprinters surged ahead, their focus unbroken, but this athlete had something special, a resilience that set him apart. The leaders were flying, a full meter ahead at 60 meters. They were in their element, their training and discipline evident in every stride. The gap between them and the trailing sprinter seemed to widen with each step. Spectators could see the determination etched on the faces of the frontrunners, their eyes fixed on the finish line. It was a display of athleticism at its finest, but the race was far from over. But he didn't panic. Then, it happened. With a calmness that belied the intensity of the moment, he began to find his rhythm. His breathing steadied, his form improved, and his speed increased. It was as if he had flipped a switch, transforming from an underdog into a contender. The crowd sensed the shift, their cheers growing louder as they witnessed the remarkable comeback unfolding before their eyes. The form locked in. He hit max velocity and started reeling them in like a machine. Every stride was flawless. His technique was impeccable, each movement efficient and powerful. He seemed to glide over the track, his body in perfect harmony with the demands of the race. The gap between him and the leaders began to close, and with every stride, he gained ground. It was a masterclass in sprinting, a demonstration of what the human body is capable of when pushed to its limits. While others tightened up, he stayed relaxed. The pressure was immense, but he remained composed. His competitors, sensing his approach, began to tense up, their movements becoming less fluid. In contrast, he seemed almost serene, his focus unwavering. It was this mental fortitude as much as his physical prowess that set him apart. He knew that the race wasn't just about speed, it was about maintaining control under pressure. That's the mark of a veteran, knowing the race isn't over until the finish line. Experience had taught him that anything can happen in those final meters. He had been in this position before, and he knew how to handle it. His years of training and competition had prepared him for this moment. As he closed in on the leaders, he drew on every ounce of his experience, every lesson learned from past races. It was a testament to his resilience and determination. And at the line, photo finish. The tension was unbearable as they crossed the finish line, bodies straining, faces contorted with effort. It was impossible to tell who had won. The crowd held its breath, waiting for the official result. The photo finish revealed the truth. He had done it. By the narrowest of margins, he had claimed victory. It was a moment of pure elation, a triumph against all odds. The crowd lost their minds, from fifth to first, in 20 meters. The stadium erupted in cheers, the noise deafening. Fans couldn't believe what they had just witnessed. It was a comeback for the ages, a performance that would be talked about for years to come. The sprinter's journey from despair to triumph had captivated everyone, a reminder of the unpredictable nature of sports. That's why we love track. It's never over till it's over. Finish strong. In the end, it's moments like these that define the sport, the thrill of competition, the uncertainty of the outcome, and the sheer joy of witnessing greatness. Track and field is a celebration of human potential, a stage where anything can happen, and this race, with its unbelievable sprint comeback, was a perfect example of why we keep coming back for more. Let's take a step back in time to another legendary moment in track and field history. The Miracle Mile. It was August 7, 1954, at the British Empire and Commonwealth Games in Vancouver, Canada. The world was eagerly anticipating a showdown between two of the greatest middle-distance runners of all time, Roger Bannister of England and John Landy of Australia. Both had recently broken the 4-minute mile barrier, a feat once thought impossible. The race began with Landy taking an early lead, his powerful strides eating up the track. His pace was relentless, and by the halfway mark, he had established a significant gap. The crowd was in awe of his speed and determination, but Bannister remained composed. He had a strategy, one built on patience and timing. As they entered the final lap, Landy was still ahead, but Bannister began to close the gap. The tension was palpable, both on the track and in the stands. With 200 meters to go, Bannister made his move. He surged forward, his legs pumping with newfound energy. The crowd's roar grew deafening as they realized they were witnessing something extraordinary. In the final stretch, Landy glanced over his left shoulder to check Bannister's position. A momentary lapse that would prove costly. Bannister seized the opportunity and surged past on the right, crossing the finish line in 3 minutes and 58.8 seconds. Landy finished just behind him at 3 minutes and 59.6 seconds. It was a race for the ages, a testament to the spirit of competition and the power of human will. The Miracle Mile remains one of the most iconic moments in track and field history, a reminder that in sports, as in life, anything is possible. And just like the unbelievable sprint comeback we saw earlier, it's moments like these, where athletes defy the odds and leave us breathless, that keep us coming back for more. Track and field is not just about the race, it's about the stories, the triumphs, and the sheer human spirit that make it all worth watching. Finish strong, always.